Hello guys, welcome to Refer UX. Myself Nimesh. In this video guide, we will be discussing cracking passwords, sniffing passwords as well as sniffing data. For cracking passwords, we'll be using John the Ripper utility, which is a free password cracking software tool, which is originally developed for the Unix operating systems, but now it can run on different platforms, including Windows. For sniffing passwords and sniffing data, we will be using Wireshark utility, which is also a free and open source packet analyzer or rather sniffer, which is used for mainly network troubleshooting, analysis, and communication. Mainly it is used for other reason is education as well. In this workshop, we will be using mainly for the password cracking three users, namely Harry, John, and David, and for two of them, mainly Harry and John, will be using commonly used password, or we say popular passwords. And for David, we intentionally made a complex password to show the difference between when cracking popular passwords and a customized complex password. When creating users, we'll be mainly using user add command for creating new users and passwd command to create password for newly created users. When come to cracking password, there are two files mainly come into picture, passwd file and the shadow file. The passwd file stores the general user information, mainly username, etc. And the shadow file stores mainly user password information, mainly the hash of the password. Without further ado, let's proceed with the workshop. Okay, we will create three user accounts like this: Harry, John, and David. Harry and John with popular passwords like admin and 1234. For the David with bit difficult password with numbers. In this activity, we will use these two commands, user add and password passwd. In order to create new users, we are using user add command. In order to create password for newly created users, we will use passwd command. Okay, let's proceed. So first I will add new users. First user add. First user is Harry, and the password for Harry is admin. Okay, we successfully created first user Harry and his password as admin. Then I will create the next user. User name is John, and the password for user add John. User add John, and passwd for John is 1234 again. Okay, second user is also created. Now the third user, David, and the password of David is DA12345 VID. Again, DA12345 VID. All right, now we have created three users with passwords. Now we can view our work using below commands. We will use cat /etc and passwd. Then we can view our newly created user. You can see here, we can see David, Harry, and John are being created as new users. Now let's view their hash passwords. We can use below command cat space /etc and /shadow. However, in order to use this command, you must be in root user mode. In order to view whether you are in root user mode, we can use who am I command. Who am I? Then it says now you are in uh, root user mode, or you can see this hash sign in the prompt. You can see that is an indicator also that we are in the super user mode. Now we will view the shadow file containing hash passwords, that is cat /etc/shadow. Then you can see the hash password file with respect to user. We can see for the David, we can, and the Harry, as well as for the John, we can have their own hash passwords. Before moving further, let's check for connectivity between each devices, that is Linux server versus Windows 7 security machine. Here, Windows security machine, secure machine, Windows 7 secure machine is used as the attacker machine, which runs the John Ripper utility. Please note that both Linux server and Windows 7 machine are in NAT configuration. To view that, let's go to I'm in now in Linux server. I'll go to VM and settings. There you can see under network adapter, you can see NAT is mentioned. Now if this configuration is set to something else, then you can simply click on this NAT and press OK in order to put the Linux server into NAT configuration. Same goes with the Windows 7 machine as well. Again, VM settings, and in the network adapter you can see again NAT and press OK. Since both Linux server and Win 7 machine are in NAT configuration, they all assign with same network IPs. To view the IP, let's follow below commands. In Linux server, we can type to view the IP ifconfig, and if you are shown with a local loop IP like this 127.0.0.1, then in order to get a DHCP IP, you can give this below command dh client. Then it will run the it will get the DHCP IP, and to view that IP, we can again give ifconfig command, and you can see now the Linux service assigned with the IP one for the ETH0 interface 192.168.176.222. And to view the IP of the Windows 7 machine, we can go to Start and go to the command prompt. Then, or we can simply press Windows R and type CMD. Then I can give the command ipconfig in Windows environment. Then I can view its IP as 192.168.176.121. So the both the devices, they are in same network because network bits are all same. Now let's ping from Linux server to Win server machine in order to check the connectivity. There, in order to limit the, if I simply give ping 192.168.176, wait, ping 192.168.176.12221, which is Windows 7 IP. Then you can see endless number of ping messages are going, but it shows it is properly connected to the Windows machine. In order to limit these ping messages, we can control C to quit this, and we can give the command ping minus C for the count, and I set 5 messages ping request. Then I put 5 and the relevant IP 192.168.176.2.1. And you can see exactly after 5 messages, this will quit. Yes, correctly it is connected. The same goes with the Windows machine. Now we go out there and there are simply only 4 messages are there, ping 192.168.176.222. And you can see after 4 they are connect the Windows machine also properly connected to or successfully connected to the Linux server and vice versa. Here we use John Ripper utility to crack the shadow file from Win7 machine. The shadow file is from Linux server, which contains its users' names and password hashes. We use WinSCP utility, which is a secure FTP client, to get transferred shadow file from the Linux server to the Windows 7 machine. Links for both John Ripper utility and WinSCP are available in the description below. First, we need to get installed WinSCP utility. Here I have already downloaded the WinSCP utility, so I will double click it. Yes, and I accept the license agreement. Then I'll go for full upgrade, then install, and it's done. So I uncheck these things and finish. Then I will click because I have installed that also. Then I'll get these windows. Then we can connect to the Linux server using this WinSCP. To do that, let me quickly check the IP address of the Linux machine, that is 192.168.176.222. So I go here, I select this to FTP, then I type the IP 192.168.176.222, and the port number for FTP is 21, and the username root, and the password is obviously in this case my root password. Then I type login, and quickly it's logged to the Linux server. And you can see the right side the Linux machine and the left side my Windows machine. Then I copy shadow files at /etc directory there, and I go to /etc. Okay, here. Then there I can locate the shadow file. I can scroll down a bit further. You can see this is the shadow file, and we can get the shadow file, and I'll get the shadow file. Then okay, I'll get the shadow file so that it's rights are there. So I'll right click, then I download that to the, it's already selected the my documents folder. So I select, and immediately it is transferred to the my document folder. Then what I'm going to do is I will navigate to my documents, and you can see the shadow file I just downloaded from the Linux server. Then I will minimize this, then I'll go to the John Ripper utility. Here I already downloaded the John Ripper utility from the given link. Then I will double click and I will extract the files, and then I can see in the desktop there's a file called John 179w2. Then I go inside, and again go inside, I can locate the run folder. I go inside and I'll select all and copy entire content under the inside the run folder. Then I'll go to the documents folder, and where my the location where my shadow file is there, what I'm going to do is I will paste the entire content there. So to make it more clear, what I'm going to do is I'll go select all, I'll copy, I'll move entire content to the folder at my desktop, so that inside that what is there, so that I can easily navigate. I can see my shadow file as well as all the other files from the run folder inside the John Ripper file. Now everything is been done. Then I have to use my CMD to navigate to this location. To do that, what I'm going to do is I'll clear the screen first, CLS. Then what I'm going to do is I will select this, I'll copy location, then I CD and right click and paste. Then I can easily change my directory to the password crack folder. Then what I'm going to do is I will check what are the direct files there. Then I can list all the files there. Inside that I can locate my shadow files as well. Then what I'm going to do is I will run the command, that is John space shadow, and that's it. Then I'll press enter and you can see John Ripper is running, and in no time what they are doing is it cracks all simple passwords. As you can see, by now he has the John Ripper has cracked Harry, my first user, and its password is admin, and the second user is John, password is 1234, and still is trying to crack the David's password. But John Ripper uses dictionary attacks for cracking the passwords, and for popular passwords like John's password and the Harry's password, they easily crack the password. However, for David's, we intentionally set a very lengthy password, that is a very complex password, that is combining with numbers. So there's a higher chance inside John Ripper usually that we are using in that dictionary list, our custom made complex password hash won't be there. Hence this will run some more time, but still you won't be able to crack that complex password. But if you use popular password, John Ripper can easily crack the popular password. So the idea is not to use simple or popular famous passwords for your passwords, because a utility like John Ripper can easily crack it. Now let's see how to crack passwords using John Ripper in Linux environment. Here I have already downloaded John Ripper using the link in the description below, and let me show you by using the listing command. You can see that I have already downloaded the John Ripper utility and it's got installed, and using the description in link in the description you can view this site and download the latest version as well. Then we clear any previous runs of John Ripper using below command, that is rm minus rf space dot John, and this clears all previous runs of John Ripper. Then we combine pass wd and the shadow file using unshadow command like below. Is unshadow /etc password and space /etc shadow into a new file, and temporary files crack underscore pass. This is a custom file that I am just making wd, and I press enter. Then we can crack the passwords using the below command, that is John /temp /temporary and crack underscore password db. And when I enter, you can see that immediately John Ripper cracked popular passwords using some of the user accounts. There we can see that for Harry's and John's accounts, their password got easily cracked by John Ripper because we used purposefully popular password. As you know, John Ripper uses dictionary-based attack so that in its list most of the popular password hashes are available. However, for David's password, we intentionally made it complex by adding some numbers so that there's a higher chance David's custom-made complex password is not available in the John Ripper. Hence, uh, even though it took a long time, there's a higher chance David's password won't be cracked. But we cracked John's and Harry's passwords because we used popular passwords as their passwords. Here we use another Windows 7 machine as Windows 7 victim machine. Actually, we use a Windows 7 security machine as the attacker machine and both Windows 7 victim machine and the Linux server as the victims. Here also you can see in the VM settings and in under the network adapter it mentioned as NAT, which means this Windows 7 victim machine is also in the same network where Windows 7 security machine as well as the Linux machine resides. Then I go to command prompt in the victim machine that by typing cmd and I'll give the command ip config and you can see that it is also in the same subnet 192.168.1.6. But first, let's stop the already running John Ripper instances in both Windows 7 and Windows Linux machines. There I got Windows 7 machine. I'll go here and I'll go Control C in order to quit from the John Ripper instance. And in the Linux server also, I give Control C in order to quit from the John Ripper instance. Then we need to check the connectivity between Linux server and the Windows 7 victim machine as well as from the security Windows 7 machine with the Windows 7 victim and vice versa. So first I go here. So first I'll check there 1, 2, 2 to 3. So here I go to clean the screen. Alright, then I clean 192.168.1.6. Wow, it is correct properly connecting. And here from ping 192.168.1 with this is actually let me check the password I forgot pick it is the password 224 so this is actually I made a mistake this should be 224 and you can see it is properly connected to the Windows 7 security machine as well. Now let's try to ping to Linux server that is 222 and it is also properly connected to the Linux server and from the Linux server let me ping to the Windows 7 victim machine and it is properly connected. Now everything is connected. Then I will go to the attacker machine. Then I will close this and I will we don't need this also and we don't need this as well either this. Then I will open the Wireshark which is already been installed in the attacker machine. Then I'll go to capture interfaces. Then I select the interfaces. Here I select the LAN interface. Then I start. Then we can see packets flowing here and there in this network. Then I do some ping message. I'll send some ping messages from Windows 7 victim machine to the Linux server. And you can see in the attacker machine Wireshark, everything is captured. So let me stop this trace. Then I want to filter out the responses coming only from the server, that is Linux server. To do that, I set a filter IP address ADDR equal 2.168.176.222 and you can see only the echo replies coming only the information coming from the uh, coming only we can see all responses related to the Linux server. However, even this echo responses and replies both are related to the 1222. In order to set it more clearly, only the messages coming from the Linux server. Then I put another filter, put dot and source src to do that. What I'm going to do is I set IP address IP dot we can say that we can say IP address source we can say that IP their IP address source is it is src. We can set it by IP, actually not the source as IP source IP.src equal 192.168.1.22, and you can see only the responses coming from source IP of Linux server can be easily categorized or displayed in the Wireshark. Now, first, now we can check another thing. I will start another capture file. Then I'll remove the filter. Then I press start, and it freshly starts capturing packets. And there also I got interfaces and set this, and okay, I'll start again. Right. Then what I'm going to do is I will go to Windows machine. Then I'll open a web browser. Then I want to access webmin web application, which has been already installed in the Linux server using the URL of http the IP of the Linux machine, and the port is 10,000. And you can see it's pop up the webmin portal. Then the username is root, and the password is password. And I log in the webmin application of the server. You can see this is the web server CentOS machine, and I'll quickly go back to the Windows security machine, which is the attacker machine. I can see a couple of HTTP messages. As you know, this particular URL sends HTTP traffic between the Linux server and the Windows 7 victim machine. Then in the attacker machine, I stop this trace. Then I filter for HTTP traffic. You can see a couple also HTTP traffic. There, then I filter for the post message. My purpose is to capture the username and password during this communication. I locate the post message. Then I go down, and under this descriptions, I can see the line-based text data. There we can easily see the username as the root and the password is the password. This is the way that you can easily capture the username and password, or sniff the username and password from a unsecure network, like in this case. And if I go for the what you call TCP follow TCP stream, also you can locate the username as the root and the password is password. So this is an example of capturing or sniffing username and password using the Wireshark, and this communication happened between the two victims, Linux server and the Windows victim. We will now looking how to do the data sniffing in a FTP session. There also I remove the filter, and I again start the capturing. Then I again go back to the Windows 7 machine. There I want to do FTP transmission. So there first I will create a new text file naming my file. .txt, then I type something. I say this is a Reaper UX session, right? I We are from Reaper UX, and I cut it, then I close it. Then I go to the command CMD of the Windows 7 victim machine. In order to do the FTP, these are the commands: FTP 192.168.172.172, which is the NAT server IP. Then it is supporting for the FTP. Now they are asking for the user. I'll use randomly created user there initially. One is John, and as you know, this is John's password is 1234. So I get the username John and password is 1234, and my session is established. Now I'm going to put my created text file to the John's account in the server using FTP, and I drag and drop there. Then the file location is there. Then I press enter. Now the packet has been properly transmitted from the via the FTP protocol. Then I quit, and now I go back to my Windows 7 machine. Oops, I made a mistake. I didn't start capturing, so I need to do it again so that I'll start it capturing. And all right, I'll go to, let's say, interfaces. I stop this and start capturing. All right, this, then what I'm going to do is it starts capturing. Then let me check it's capturing the data to just to verify whether my Wireshark is working. And seems not capturing the data. Why is that? All right, it's capturing the data. All right, cool. Now I'll do the FTP transmission again. FTP 192.168.176.222. Right, session open. My username is John and password is 234. Well, I'm in. Then I put this file into the server and press enter, and it has been transferred properly, and then I quit. Well done. Then I go back to the Windows 7 machine, and I can see some FTP transmission has happened, and I stop the capturing. Then I look for FTP-data. So my purpose is searching for any data sniffing. Then I press enter. You can see that if the Wireshark has captured the FTP transmission data, I double click it, and uh, let me go to this information, and you can see that it says that under the information FTP data is this is Refer UX session, which I wrote there. And let me go to the follow TCP stream, and this shows you that this is a Refer UX session, and this is an example of capturing or rather sniffing data using Wireshark in an FTP session. In this video guide, we learned password cracking, sniffing, and data sniffing using two open source utilities, John Reaper as well as Wireshark. This is purely for education purpose only. I hope you learned something new in this video guide. We really appreciate your valuable likes and comments and shares. To know about future such videos quickly, please do subscribe to our channel Refer UX. Till we meet again, have a great time.